show you a number of new rakes that we have available for 1991. Some have been around for a while that we really haven't got the activity on as I think we should, so we want to go through those first. That, of course, one of which is the rotary rake. Just a little bit about the raking business. Most all of you people have sold parallel bar rakes. We make them available. It appears as though the parallel bar rake business is kind of a dwindling market. It's just not near as active as it was before. People are going away from the parallel bar rakes, primarily in a lot of cases to the wheel rake, and also in some cases to the rotary rake. And I think that the rotary rake offers a whole lot of potential that we just don't realize, or we're not working toward aggressively to get a greater share of that business. There's a lot of people out there that if they saw a rotary rake operate, I think will buy a rotary rake. And the nice thing about it is there's not a whole lot of people in the business, for one thing, so that the competition there is not near as great as it is in some other things. And secondly, they're talking about some dollar values, enough that you can make some money at it. So I think it's something we want to talk about today, and I think it's something if you take you back to your dealerships and demonstrate and work with, you're going to sell some. As far as capability of rakes are concerned, one of the advantages that we have with the rotary rake is the fact that it puts the windrow in a real nice, high, standing, fluffy windrow that again allows more air to pass through, and as more air passes through it, the hay is going to dry faster. Going back to the same philosophy we use at the mower conditioner, you want to make a high, fluffy windrow to allow air to pass through, because the only thing that dries hay is air. And so with a rotary rake such as this, it makes a real nice, high, fluffy windrow. More air is going to pass through it, and therefore the hay is going to dry faster. One of the big differences between a rotary rake and a parallel bar rake is the fact that there is not any roping being done on a rotary rake as you find in a parallel bar rake. You know, where the crop is actually roped together as it moves across that parallel bar into the windrow. And of course, when you rope it together, you tend to condense the windrow, you compress the windrow, and it makes it less apt for air to pass through. A parallel bar rake ropes the crop more than any other rake that's wrong. A wheel rake will rope it less than a parallel bar rake, but more than a rotary rake. And the rotary rake does not rope it at all. The way the rotary rake operates is this. Inside this gearbox right here, inside the gearbox is a cam track. And the arms follow that cam track. And you notice that, Neil, unhook that power takeoff shaft, will you? You have to turn that thing a little bit more, too. Yeah. Okay. You get up there?
Scratch that paint.
It's plastic. Okay, the way the rake works is this. Is each one of the arms are fitted into a cam, and if you notice on that right-hand side there, the teeth are down toward the ground. It comes across the face of the rake, picking up the crop as it goes, gets it over to this side right here, and as it hits this point right here, the cam then raises the arms up, raises the teeth up across the top of the windrow. So basically what we're doing is we're picking up the crop as it goes across the front, moving it over to the windrow, and just rotating the teeth right across the top of it. So what you do is you just carry the hay and you set it into a real nice high fluffy pile, into a fluffy windrow. Very, very gentle on the hay. It's more gentle than any other rake that's available today. So it picks up the crop, moves it across the center. The cam picks it up, rolls the crop, or rolls the teeth across the top of the crop, forming a real nice high fluffy windrow. Very, very simple, very easy, and it does a nice job. A rotary rake, though, is something, if you have this sitting at your dealership, a farmer walks by and looks at it and says, what the hell does that thing do? The only way to sell them is to demonstrate them. You got to take them out and demonstrate them. Show them what the thing will do. If you get a guy that's even remotely interested in a rake, or if you have an influential farmer in your area, I would suggest that you take it out and show them how the thing works. Because if you do it, by God, you're going to start selling some rakes. Couple things that are important. We have two new model rakes available. This is our 264. We also have a 262. The difference is the raking width and the number of raking teeth. The 264 has 11 arms. The 262 has 9 arms. The 264 has 4 pair of teeth per arm. The 262 has 3 pair of teeth per arm. So basically that's the difference as far as the as far as the design of the rake is concerned, everything else is the same. The raking width on a 264 is 10 feet. Now, you have to be careful in how you determine the raking width or the capability of the rake when you take a look at the literature, especially of competitive machines, because what normally happens is that the people will measure the width from that point out there to the skirt on this side right here. Obviously, you're not raking a damn thing right in here. And so what if you notice in our literature, what we have done is we've changed that. We say the overall raking width and then the working width. The working width is the area that you're actually going to rake in. And that is from this point right here to the radius times 2, to that side right there. The 264 will rake 10 feet. The 262 will rake 9.5 feet. You know, they talk about 12-foot rotary rakes. You can rake 12 feet, but there's 3 feet of material that's not going to be touched. So don't get yourself in trouble like we did. Initially, we start looking at raking widths and find out that you have some rakes that are just not big enough to handle a windrow. So remember, on a Gehl rake, the 264 has a raking width of 10 feet. The 262 has a raking width of 9.5 feet. Now, the most important thing about a rotary rake is first of all the adjustment, and secondly the operating speed. The thing that you want to make sure happens when you're adjusting this rake is that the teeth at this point right here, are the same distance off the ground as it is in the front. Basically, you want the rake parallel with the ground. Now what you want to do is you adjust this height right here by the crank in the back, right here. You can raise and lower it. You raise and lower it by raising and lower this crank. And you want to have this down right over there. So it's just about an inch or so off the ground. Just like that. Okay? And then what you want to do is you want to adjust the front so that the tooth right here is at that same height, which looks just about right, Carl. Just about like that. And if the point is the same there as it is there, you're going to get even raking all the way around. Some people like to have the front down farther. If you do that, this comes off the ground and you just reduce your overall raking width. So basically that's the adjustment that has to be made. Now, as far as your operating speed is concerned, you have to be concerned about RPMs as well as tractor speed. And you want to synchronize the two. You want to, actually what you want to do is you want to have the raking arms working relatively slowly, and your forward travel is going to be determined by your raking conditions. You want to make sure that you have it running as fast as you can without losing crop. All right? Again, it's something that you have to play with a little bit as you go from one crop to the other. I would suggest what you do is to take a rake out and play with it just a little bit so you operate it so you feel comfortable with it. And then get it, if you don't have them in stock, get some on order, get them set up, show your customers what you have to offer, and if you do that, you're going to sell some rotary rakes. And as I said, the nice thing about it is not everybody in town is selling rotary rakes. So if you get this market started, you're going to get on the ground floor and buy Gehl, you're going to sell some rakes. All right?
One mistake they don't want to make is sell this as a high-speed unit. If guys looking for high speed, go to a wheel rake, because this is not a 10-mile-an-hour rake.
No.
You can go 8 though.
Yeah, you can go faster with this than you can with a parallel bar.
They're going to offer a hydraulic lift on it someday?
We're looking at that. We're looking at it.
Coming in the field like this, pulling in,
yeah,
dropping it up and down on the end of the field.
Yeah, yeah, we're looking at that. We haven't had it. We don't have it as yet. You know, the other thing that you can do though is go to a 3-point rake, which we have, but nobody wants to buy it.
That does crank up and down nice and easy though. Moving from field to field or anything.
Right.
That
But at the end of the field across the end, when you're raking the field, you got 5 rows across the end, you pull out the end, you rake it around with you.
Yeah. Yeah. But
This is obviously a 7-Up. It's not a Miller.
Is that right?
Yeah, you can very well see that. That's straight soda.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, we're out here parched.
You learning anything today?
Oh, I'm learning tons.
Are you going to sell some more Gehl stuff?
Who?